Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to invite your spouse to come up to your level. So I talk a lot about knowing your worth and value, having standards and boundaries, right? And basically just requiring that, requiring for your God ordained spouse to come up to your level, right? And you not going down to, a prodigal's level. And see, when we talk about how do you invite this individual to come up to your level, it's levels to this, okay? And I'm gonna try my best to explain this because one of the mistakes a lot of people are making is that you hear these videos telling you know your worth, know your value, right? Have your standards or set standards, and give this person a boundary, right? And some of you are doing it right. You will give your spouse the boundaries. You communicate your standards to them. However, after about a month or two, when your spouse challenge that boundary or standard, you find yourself coming off of it, right? You find yourself lowering your standard. You find yourself tolerating things you don't want to tolerate and breaking your own boundaries. Why is that? That is because you haven't become the standard. It's because you haven't, become the boundary, right? This is when you all hear me talk about inviting your spouse to come up to your level. Whenever you hear me talk about knowing your worth and value, it first start at a level where you have to become this. It's a mindset shift. It's where you are dealing with, the very things that's causing you to tolerate the things you don't want to tolerate, right? We got to do the work. You have to get down to the limiting beliefs, right? You have to deal with the mother and father wounds, right? You have to deal with, previous relationship, and why they failed, right? Why it didn't work out, and whatever abuse or mistreatment that came, in from those previous relationships. We got to do the work, right? We got to help ourselves to understand, why am I operating this way? Why do I continue to tolerate X, Y, and Z? Why do I continue to lower my standards? Why do I continue to give this person chance after chance after chance after chance, only to show me they are not willing to change, right? You have to sit yourself down and ask yourself, why do I continue to show up this way? What is going on within me that's causing me to get X results, right? This is the first step. Because again, this is why when you try to enforce a boundary or communicate your standard, this is why when your spouse or whoever it is, when you give that boundary and standard to them and they test it, this is why you come off of it. This is why you break your own boundary and standard, right? This is why you don't even keep it, because you're not doing the work. You're trying to skip the steps. So we got to go back to step one. What's going on within me? What is it that I need to heal within myself, so that now I'm no longer responding out of my own brokenness, right? I'm not allowing fear to have me tolerating things that's breaking me, right? Or, causing me to feel, negative about myself, right? You got to deal with the things that are dealing with you, okay? So you got to be like, and this is the other thing I want to talk about. You have to become the standard. You gotta, already be putting your reps in every day. You got to get your reps in every single day. Meaning, if you want to learn how to build boundaries into your life or into your marriage, you have to start now, right? You got to start now giving people who are already in your life boundaries. On the job, you got to start now communicating your boundaries to these individuals, right? When we talk about standards, you have to know, what is my standards, right? What is the level I'm living on, right? You have to get clear on a few things, and then you got to do that work, because standards has everything to do with, is attached to your self-esteem and self-worth, right? So you got to do that work in order for you to enforce the standard and not break or lower your standards, right? Whenever you find yourself lowering your standards for an individual, I don't care how much you love this individual. If a person can come into your life and cause you to lower your standard, it has everything to do with how you are currently feeling about yourself. Okay? It has everything to do with how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, okay? What you think you deserve, right? That's what standards is all about, knowing what you deserve and don't deserve, right? Knowing what I will tolerate and I won't tolerate, right? Knowing my non-negotiables, right? You got to know these things. So when we talk about how do you invite your spouse to come up to your level, your first step is to deal with you, to get to the root of, well, why am I accepting X, Y, and Z? Why do I tolerate? And I know I'm talking about your spouse, but I want you to take this a step further. Why do I tolerate this from my parents? Why do I tolerate this mistreatment from my friends? Why do I tolerate this on the job? Why am I selling it for this job? Right? We gotta really go there and take a look at and ask ourselves, why am I doing this thing? Why do I keep showing up this way? Because in order for something to change, you must change. If you keep getting the same results, it's because you keep doing the same thing. You keep thinking the same way, right? You got to change if we want a different result, right? So this is your first step in how to invite your spouse to come up to your level. You got to become that level. And this is how we become, this is how we start the process on how to become the level. We got to get clear on what is going on inside of me that's causing me to get this results. Okay? When you are clear on this is what's going on with me, then you're able to deal with it, you're able to heal it, you're able to give whatever it is, closure or clarity, or you know, it could just be a word curse that you need to uproot and then replace it with what God says about you, right? Right? Maybe you dealt with someone in your past who told you you're not good enough, you're not worthy of loving, right? Maybe they made you cause you to feel this way. Maybe it's that. That's the root, right? That you need to deal with and now begin to replace it with what did God say about you? God said you are worthy. You are the apple of his eye. You are his precious, most prized possession. God calls you a queen. He calls you a king. Okay? So we gotta begin to get to the root of these things and then begin to uproot it by replacing these lies with the truth. This is how you start the work process. Okay. And once you begin to start this process, you begin to build on top of it. Okay. And you got to become it. In so many words, you got to become it. All right. So I wanted to just say that I am Tequila Nicole, and I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.